Hi, I'm Ken. I like languages. I've been interested in different languages for a long time. I pay a lot of attention to communication. Well, so for my native language is Mandarin Chinese. I spoke English, and I learned some American Sign Language when I was in college, and that was a lot of fun. And so things like that just make me interested in language and how it's structured. So I took a couple of linguistics classes when I was in college. I was also interested in math. I was a math major in college. In computer science, I like to program a lot. So when I was about to graduate from college, I kind of started looking at different options. Do I want to go to grad school? What other kind of things do I want to do? So I decided to look for a graduate program in computational linguistics, which includes natural language processing. I should say that natural language processing is kind of an application of computational linguistics, or if you think of natural language processing as the engineering side of what can we build that actually helps people, then computational linguistics is the use of computer science or computation to study linguistics, study how language works, study how it is that people manage to speak and listen, how is it that kids so quickly learn the language that surrounds them. So nowadays when people ask me what I do, I say I study semantics, which is whatever means stuff. Okay, so meaning, in both programs and natural language expressions can mean things, and I actually find that you can share a lot of tools between programming language research and natural language research. So I spent a lot of time transferring tools from one side to the other, to tell programming language people, hey, there's these cool tools that natural language semanticists have invented that you might want to take a look at, and vice versa. Tell linguists, hey, computer scientists have come up with these ways to write programs, but you can use the same ways to write your semantic theories for natural language. So sort of transferring tools between. So when kids grow up, they learn languages really without thinking very much about it. I don't remember how I learned my first language. It just happened in the first few years of life, and that's like the magical thing, right? It's like again, you ask a baseball, how do you fly a whale? It's not going to tell you, right? So there's a lot of stuff that we're not conscious about that we want to study, and there's also conscious things that go on. Often what happens is that this person, maybe your friend, can become a linguist, and then that helps a little bit in terms of connecting what he thinks about consciously and the sort of unconscious processing, and then it's going to be very interesting. So today, I would say that the more data you have, for example, the more text you have on the internet written in that language, the easier it is to do natural language processing. So English is all over the web. It's very easy for someone to download, not just Wikipedia, but all, like I don't know how much you can find statistics. Like there's a lot of English on the web. There's a lot of Chinese on the web, which is not derived from Latin. There's a lot of French, whatever, German. So these become easier because nowadays natural language processing is a lot based on data, a lot based on just looking at patterns that exist in what people currently write. If you are looking at languages that are endangered, maybe there's only 2 speakers left and they don't use the internet, right? How do you get enough data to do natural language processing, to do machine translation, or to even have a dictionary, for those languages? That becomes more difficult. So if you just find one of those dying languages that there are only 1 or 2 speakers left of, okay, those will be the most difficult languages. I think it's fair to say there are camps, and there are camps who think of themselves as on the rules and logic side, and there are camps who say they're on the sort of statistics and probability side. If you read what Chomsky wrote and read what Norvig wrote, I personally find it difficult to believe that they are discussing or communicating with each other in good faith all the time. You need both of them. In fact, they really should be combined. We need some logic that can deal with uncertainty. That's one way to put it. And we need some statistics that can deal with structure. Okay, so people often the people who quote unquote fall on the logic camp often ignore how much logic is about patterns and learning what's likely from experience, like how much sort of the not mathematical induction, but sort of induction helps developing logical theories. But on the other hand, people who focus on statistics and probabilities and I would say sort of modern machine learning sometimes overlook how much the insight from traditional linguists, I would say, has informed even just the making of these machine learning methods. You know, like people nowadays would go through a big corpus like the web or Wikipedia and say, you know, we can look at the meaning, we can get at the meaning of words by looking at what words surround them, and that's pure data. It doesn't involve any logic, any linguistics at all. You just look at which words occur near which other words. But even just when you look at words that are near other words, that's using insight from linguistics. Linguistics tells us that words near each other, first of all, linguistics tells us there's such things as words. Okay. Okay. It talks about morphology. Like, you know, a lot of times when you look at a word, you remove the inflections on the verb or on the nouns to get at the root of the word. Right. That's linguistics right there. Okay. How do you do that? And how do you know what makes one word or two? You know, is ice cream one word or two? Right. And then linguistics also talks about how words near each other are related. Like they might be more tightly correlated in meaning in some way. So this is also insights that, you know, we take so much for granted that we forget where they came from. I think, you know, search engines have definitely impacted me. Machine translation has helped. You know, often I want to read something in French or in Japanese, and you know, I don't speak those languages, but I can kind of get, at least I can get enough from a machine translation website that I know whether to ask a friend of mine who actually speaks French or actually speaks Japanese to translate it for me. Yeah, and that means that people can get to know each other better. I think that's a great thing. I think, yeah, in the end, search becomes for me, I mean, just thinking about my own life, yeah, you know, I just do that all the time. It's really hard to imagine, right, when there are these crossword puzzles that you actually have to think about. You can't just like Google the clue and get an approximation to the answer. Yeah, you know, definitely, you know, I don't do crosswords, but I hear that crosswords, like the crossword industry has changed a lot since there are now search engines.